Chantal prefers cats.
So, do you have a cat?
Too unsanitary. Chantal would want a cat, but only if it could be sanitized. Anyway, the messiest is a canary. She refused that too. But for once, I stuck to my guns. I can be quite firm if I need to be. Your butt got chewed for blowing the pooch.
This is Film Sack.
I don't even know what it means.
Oh, sure.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Film Sack. This is Film Sack. We are mining the very depths of film entertainment for all mankind, episode 695. I'm Scott Johnson, joined today by Brian. Gene Hackman likes your bum crack Dunaway.
Oh, wow. Scott is hitting all the high points in my intro today. We must have seen the same movie and not the 2000-something other. There was like 3 of these anyway.
There's a ton of them.
Oh, it's all messed up, isn't it? It's weird.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, hi. This week on Film Sack, we have questions, false confessions, and exactly 60 feet of hall between us and the butt crack cleavage that used to love us. Smooth, like butt crack cleavage is supposed to be, not like whatever it is that we have on the back rack. What? I'm just being honest. Oh, sure. And now we are under suspicion for watching this 2000 psychological thriller starring the late, great Gene Hackman murdering a skinny cigar uncomfortably between the wrong effing fingers. Holy bathroom Bacardi. Hand me my unmarked pill bottle full of speed and fire up Netflix. We're about to take a journey into the obscene. Anywho, your butt got chewed for blowing the pooch. Wait, what? Is that the phrase? And why does that sound so much worse than screwing the pooch? Oh, man. Pass me the rest of that bathroom Bacardi. Ghost dog, I need some mouthwash for my mind. Hey, Randy. Why can't you tell me one thing that adds up so we can go across the street and party with our rugs off?
He looked weird in a toupee. All right, nicely done. We're also here with Randy. He found a bench, sat down, Jordan.
Aloha, Scott. Brian. Okay, here's the deal. We've got 2 dead bodies in the space of 3 weeks, and the man who called in the second one is really fun to talk to. So we're going to have an old-fashioned back and forth, and it's going to be like 12 angry men minus about 9 of the men. Don't get too excited, but this guy's wife is so hot. So hot. She's about 34 years younger than her husband, so you know she's super unhappy sexually, and probably also when she has to help her hubby use the toilet 7 times a day. But forget about that for a moment and pay attention to my 3 rules for making everyone as uneasy as possible. Number 1, don't hold something like a court proceeding with proper prosecution and defense before, I don't know, a judge and jury. That's ridiculous. Number 2, grill the wife in a room with a spy mirror so your suspect can watch. That's, that happens at every police station, apparently.
Yeah.
Number 3, don't let your hair fall off. No. It should have been rule number 1. Don't let your hair fall off. No one will ever want to sleep with you again after your hair falls off. And the only thing that matters to anyone is having sex.
Oh, that's the truth. Isn't that the truth?
Facts.
Oh, the truth hurts. The truth hurts. All right, well, nicely
Honesty.
done. Yeah, honesty is such a lonely word. Hey, with us finally, we've got Brian. Sure glad we chose to celebrate the career of Gene Hackman with this Ibit.
Yeah, was Superman 4 available? Wanted to, if you've heard the pre-show, I know only patrons hear the pre-show, but I want to just offer a quick apology to Randy because I tried to correct him on the word disassociation, and he was right. It's dissociation. I was like, all right, well, association and disassociation is the opposite.
No, put me in the
No,
boat.
because English makes no sense.
I know
Exactly.
that's true.
Science took out the syllable, not me.
Put,
Okay,
put
And not
me
Randy.
put me in the boat you're in, because I thought the exact same thing until today. So Randy, you've educated us all. Well done. Nice job.
Exactly. Thank you for that, Randy.
Yeah.
Also, it's too bad I already used "It Wasn't Me" by Shaggy, because boy, that would have been a great one for this, for this week. Damn it!
Murdered? I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that it's very difficult to write a fun, happy song about a pedophile. So I decided just to do a loving tribute to one of our favorite actors of all time instead. Scott, please play the clip.
Now also Matthew Sweet.
Yeah, man. Damn. That was great. You know what's stupid about that song is for the first couple seconds, I'm like, all right, so you make it clear it's going to be a Gene Hackman reference here. So I'm like, all right, that'll make sense. But where's the chord? What's that going to? I'm like, duh, it's Gene Hackman. Hackman, duh.
Yeah.
I don't know why it took me
I heard
so
you laughing
long.
as soon as the chorus came up. I'm like, he didn't see
so
that
good.
coming.
I really didn't.
I
and
did not.
That makes me
Same.
feel very dumb, but there it is. Well done as usual. We are talking about the movie Under Suspicion, the year 2000.
Which year? 2000.
Yeah. There's a lot of them.
Don't watch the wrong one accidentally, or do.
Yeah, or maybe this is the wrong one, it turns out. Directed by Stephen Hopkins, and we got a little bit of a fake Fletcher here to explain more, so here you go. This one really weirded me out.
On this week's Film Sack, a wealthy attorney in San Juan comes to the police station for 10 minutes of follow-up questions to finding a body in a park. Another similar crime happened weeks earlier, and the evidence points to him.
Him?
Him is starting to get Mario is veering into a little effeminate voice.
I would agree.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with what would be wrong with her.
Just the evolution is amazing. It's been amazing to watch.
It's been a real journey.
I just really appreciate the juxtaposition. Like we have this, like probably the most discomforting movie we've ever seen. Probably the hardest to recommend to general audiences.
for sure.
And here we have Fake Fletcher just like going off.
Yeah, I feel like this is I'm glad you said that, Randy, because it does feel like since maybe what's the Lisa Bonet shotgun one? What's that called?
Oh,
Angel Heart.
Angel Heart.
Angel
not
Heart.
Since
Oh,
Angel,
yeah. Did we watch that?
We did. Not since
fine.
Angel Heart have I felt this this level of
Uncomfortable?
discomfort. Yeah, it's been this was rough, and it's not so much that even some of it doesn't even really hold up, but it's just subject matter is real gnarly, dude. It's just
It is really it's really dark. Yeah. I mean, flat out. Okay, so he's not the killer, but still a pedophile, basically, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
So my conclusion. So the good thing about this movie, if you haven't seen it yet, be prepared to make your own conclusions, because that's what the filmmaker is asking you to do.
I hate that.
I know. So my take was he's not an actual pedophile, but he is a groomer. He will not cross the line of being the pedophile, but he will go right up to the uncomfortable line of grooming and then waiting until they're of age. So he can
All right, so here's the question that
That's
just
my
doesn't
opinion.
get answered in the film. Who took the photographs? Was it him or was it Chantel trying to frame him?
Okay, so the photographs from his dark room were photographs that he took, because he takes photographs of everything. He's just a guy.
Okay, so it's just a matter of like,
But
well,
Thomas-
he also has landscape photos and put pictures of buildings and stuff like that. Okay,
yeah,
right.
His biggest fault was that he would continue to be dishonest about things, which was what caused the most suspicion. And he did take pictures. He was creepy. He did take pictures of those kids, and he did have contact with them. But Thomas Jane was all like, "Oh, he's 100% effing guilty." No, that was disgraceful.
No, Tom Jane loved just to say everything is perfectly all sewn up and done. He thought the guilty verdict was in the first 3 minutes of this movie. And
he's very black, and he's the black. So Morgan Freeman is trying to get down to the truth, and Thomas Jane just wants to hear what he wants to hear, right?
Well, and
yeah.
and you hear an ever changing story like every time he answers a question
Yeah.
that he's being asked,
Yeah.
and so it's really hard to remember that this whole thing starts with Gene Hackman's character finding a dead body and reporting it. That's like a
After
really
taking a
important part.
shower.
Yeah.
But
Right.
do you know what I'm saying? Like you have to keep reminding yourself, like if he was really actually a killer, he wouldn't have
Right.
reported the dead body like
Mhm.
like he wouldn't have the first one. Obviously he didn't. He wasn't the reporter,
But-
right?
Morgan Freeman said, "I know why you killed the second one. It was to cover up the first one."
Right. And it's like
I was like,
you have to keep reminding yourself because this story is determined to take you along with the brainwashing, the
Right.
misunderstanding of one's own
But
history.
to make it work, you have to at least, I don't know, give a little bit more of a belief that, he could be telling the truth. He could be not guilty of all this stuff. And they ham fist so much. Oh, he doesn't remember anything. And these dramatizations are so pinpoint, like, yeah, I totally walked on upon her and she was just laying there and I thought she was alive. And
I actually like the he said, she said stuff.
You thought that was
I
good?
like that he said, she said, I like the putting the actors into the
situations
the
that were
situation,
obviously tainted by the retelling, right? It's like
If
Yes.
if not for that, I would say this movie doesn't have any reason to exist. That artistic decision to have Morgan Freeman
yeah.
hanging out with him
Walk
in a crime
around.
scene
Yeah, yeah.
was the only
was unique.
reason I could give you for this movie. Like
Mhm.
It was good, too.
everything else, I'm
was.
like, man, this
So-
is
yeah.
So
like,
it's based
you
on
know,
based on a French movie that apparently this is very faithful to. So the
Based
French
on a-
movie was like this too.
Right.
It was like what was the name of it? It was oh shit.
It's French. I don't remember. It's based on a
Here-
book.
here it
and
is.
then there's a French movie that this was based
it's
on.
called The Grilling.
Yeah.
1981's The Grilling, directed by Claude Miller with Lino Ventura, Michael Serrault, and Romy Schneider. But it was all French language. But apparently the storyline is like identical, other than location. And I don't know who was
I like
sitting around going, we gotta remake that one. We gotta get that 1981.
I like the idea of I like the thought experiment that this movie was, because it is almost an experiment in filmmaking, because it asked the audience to do something we're not often asked to do, which is to make our own conclusions based on all kinds of different motivations from each of the different characters, and then walk away and go, all right, let's try to put it together.
Yeah.
Let's see what happened here.
I'd agree if I felt like they gave you enough on the flip side, enough
Okay.
to make you
What
believe
were you missing?
that more questionable things that don't just make it feel like Gene Hackman's covering things up. He's a great actor. I'm not going to disparage his acting, but maybe it could have been directed to be less guilty sounding. I mean, God,
Yeah.
there's got to be a better way of phrasing it.
I like that he was. I like the fact that they played it. For me, it worked. I obviously didn't work for you, but it worked for me. The
Didn't work
fact
for me, yeah.
that he was kind of slimy, because the real question wasn't. Is he bad? Yes, he's bad.
Mhm,
Period.
Yeah,
End of sentence. But
sure.
did he kill and rape this kid? So that's the question. It's like, okay, so we're trying to get down.
Yeah, but I'm still confused why he admitted to things he didn't do. I understand.
because this story is about how under intense pressure a person's brain can just stop working.
No, I get it, and I know that there are actual live case. I was looking up some of these last night. There are real cases of people admitting to crimes they didn't commit because of how much pressure, interrogation, how much time, the lack of water, food, sometimes hours sitting in a room, all that stuff. I understand.
That is the plot of this movie.
I understand all that, but what I'm saying is, in the larger scheme of things, he wasn't really there that long.
Right.
It wasn't
Yes,
that
you're
intense.
absolutely right.
These are guys that knew
You're
each
absolutely right.
other.
The movie didn't do a good job of depicting what it takes to extract a false confession.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
I didn't feel like, no, this is once again my interpretation. That's what's great about the one good thing about this movie is it allows you to make your own interpretation of it. And I felt like he was he said something under his breath that made me feel that he was trying to either let her know she had won, Chantel, who was watching behind the glass.
Mhm.
That either she won or he was trying to protect her. One of those two motivations, I wasn't quite sure, but it felt like his confession was not because they broke him, she broke him. He's been in a much longer boiler room, years of trying to deal with this, and the confession was all for her show. It was all for her.
Yeah, but
and so that's why.
but that implies that he's somehow victimized by her, and that's not the case at all. If anything, it's the flip.
She kind of is victimized because even Morgan Freeman says people are terrible. You're jealous. Sex withholding, whatever. And he's
Morgan
hurt because
Freeman starts yelling at Isabella Rossellini, I was just like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
this feels really bad."
Yeah, no,
And then
I
you realize.
yeah.
That's actually the acting, like the angry acting high point of the movie for me.
Yeah, he's very
Hackman
he's very good.
does a lot of angry acting, and Aaron, what's his name, Thomas Jane, is only angry acting.
Right.
But
Yeah,
the,
exactly. There's nothing good.
the real
Always
high
angry.
point of all of that is when Morgan Freeman loses it, because like he immediately apologizes, like the actor. It feels like the actor is apologizing.
Yeah.
Just,
So they're all under extreme pressure. They're all bringing their own bias in here, and I like that because he's been through 2 marriages. He's kind of mad at her because he's putting some of what he experienced in his marriage onto her. And I think I thought the way a lot of the emotion build up, how it kind of crescendos and it goes back to normal because you realize, oh, we got to keep this civil because there's a lot more, things at risk here than us just finding the guy. And if we're wrong, then we're the monsters. Or if he's the monster, we got to find it out. So I liked a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
This movie wasn't perfect by any means. Way from perfect.
And don't you agree that it's really hard to recommend this movie?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh,
Because
Yeah.
the subject matter,
so I
the subject matter
actually
isn't
did-
entertaining.
So I did actually recommend this to Audra, who's my significant other, because I felt that she likes psychological thrillers, and I felt this fit in with some of the other things that we enjoyed, like Runaway Jury and what's the one with all the multiple personalities, like those kind of movies.
Identity?
That kind of Identity, yeah. So it kind of felt like it was within all of that. So in that case, yes, but it's a very specific. It's
Yeah,
a very
you're-
specific.
I also think if you're
Yeah,
like
you-
a Hackman purist and you're like, I need to see all of his late
All
stage
hacks.
career stuff, then you're
Yeah.
gonna want to. You're probably gonna want to see this performance. It's a nuanced one. It's one that is unusual for him. It's dark. It's weird. It's different. But as a whole, I ain't putting this on any kind of list. I can recommend.
No,
No.
and the biggest problem with it is the fact that it deals with pedophilia, because they show us these kids that are dead, but they definitely don't look dead, right? There's nothing graphic
Mhm.
about it. Everything is in our minds, and
Totally.
even
They
with
look
that,
like just like they say in the film, like they
They're
look like
sleeping.
they're sleeping. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. And so even when they soften it to that extreme, you're still uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
So that tells you about
Sure.
the subject matter right
My,
there. So
my
yeah, can you
significant
recommend
other,
anybody?
my significant other walked out 10 minutes, like in the movie. She was just like, I'm not going to watch 2 hours of this. This
Yeah.
is, it
Yeah.
was,
You know what it reminded me of?
Tina really enjoyed Facebook and connections and Wordle during the film Under Suspicion.
The one thing it reminded me of is like a David Mamet stage thing a little bit, and I'm not comparing them directly to like quality or anything, but what I mean is Mamet it feels like a stage where everyone's sitting in the same place the whole time. And I think Glenn Ross kind of, and
Totally, yeah.
nobody ever really goes anywhere.
as opposed to like State and Mate.
Yeah, or whatever it is. But like that vibe, if you go into this movie with that thinking, it might actually land better for some people, because it's that kind of thing. It's all dialogue, it's all facial expressions, it's all misdirection. And yeah, they do the thing where he's describing a crime scene and magically the ghost of Morgan Freeman gets to tag along and walk around the hallways of places that aren't really there. Some of that's done really well. Some of it was real ham-fisted for me, and I didn't like it. So I don't know what the happy medium is. I don't know how they reached that, but this movie could have been, like we always say, in the right hands, anything can be good. This may have been a better thing somewhere else. And honestly, make the crimes different.
wouldn't-
Make it like, I don't know. Did it have to be pedophile stuff? Did they have to go there? Like,
Well, and-
I think it does because of the actual subject matter. Once you start taking away the pedophilia, you kind of lose the whole thread of, is he a groomer? Would he go to that extreme? How far did he go? Why? How come he's only drinking and not eating? And he seems to be more mouthy as he drinks. There's a lot of character things that are going on in here that I think require this specific story.
yeah,
I
it just
know.
feels like
It's-
you're doomed if you do, doomed if you don't kind
Yeah,
of
right.
story.
Yeah.
There
I
have to
want-
be
I-
stakes, but you
Yeah.
also don't want him to lean so far into those stakes that you don't care about the character.
Yeah,
Like,
those are
oh,
nasty
okay.
stakes. you
I
know?
don't care whether he killed the girls or not. He's kind of a creep, and maybe he does deserve a little
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
That's what you're supposed to be asking yourself. It's
Yeah,
like, oh,
Can
You know,
can I reconcile that in my own heart to say, well, he may
Yeah.
not be guilty of that. He's guilty of something, and for that,
right.
he should be punished.
yeah. I mean, it feels
Which
like
is how it works every day in our
Of course,
court
of course
systems
it does,
every
yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's true. And I guess
So-
to explore that is interesting, but maybe this is short. If this was an hour and a half, you know?
Mm.
Another-
I don't know.
Good
I don't know
thing.
because like the original complaint was that he wasn't grilled long enough to justify his
Yeah, that's true.
false confession. And then of course there's also Dunaway keeps coming with this. You get to decide for yourself. There was a little bit of, was it even a false confession? Like they found definite evidence on another person, but it wasn't super established. They're just like, oh, okay, all right, you're good. You're good. To
yeah,
go.
Mhm.
but that's the thing. You're also asking, even when you feel like you're sure, even when you have all the evidence in front of you, you still walk away going, "Oh wait, he's a rich guy. Maybe he hired somebody to frame somebody."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like maybe he's got the policia
Sure.
in his back pocket. And so
the police.
there's no satisfaction at the end of this film, and that is very intentional. And
Sure.
I don't know if I like it.
I like
I don't
movies that
usually
end that
mind
way.
that. Yeah,
same.
exactly.
Yeah.
That if it was just that, it wouldn't bother me as much as it did in this film. But
When they
there's
said,
something
well, let me
about-
ask you this, Brian. When they're standing out or they're sitting out on the two benches separated by the planter at the very end, Morgan Freeman's looking over the thing. Hackman went. They looked like they were going to hug, but then Hackman veered off and just sat and put his hands in his face in a bench, and then she wanders over and sits on the bench opposite of him. Are we supposed to go, well, another rough and tumble day for this couple, but they'll be fine tomorrow? Like,
That's the thing. Like,
No, I think
there's-
we're supposed to think they are done. Like
Right.
he will not accept her forgiveness of him for thinking that he did it.
okay,
Right.
that's good.
And
That's kind of how I felt. but-
Finally crossed the line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt that way a
especially-
little bit. I was like, this movie's not sure what it wants to tell me, so I don't want to assume anything.
Right.
You know,
And the
Sure.
line-
No, that's.
I
so
feel like
true.
the line crossed was when she allows the police to search their house. That is the moment when she no longer gets to be married to him and be trusted by him, ever
Yeah.
again. And that was like such a sort of also happened plot point, and that's a shame because like in the end you're supposed to feel this like, yeah, walk away from that bitch kind of moment, but it's not really. Do you know? It's not really. It doesn't really land. It's
Yeah.
just more of a. It's more of a. And then they went their separate ways.
yeah.
As
Right,
someone
yes.
as someone who is has anybody else been here through a divorce besides me?
Oh, Randy has. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
have?
it has, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so let me tell you that
Not that I
feeling I
wanna
felt.
talk
It, right. That feeling I felt there felt very familiar. I'm not saying that our fire ever burnt that hot during our divorce.
Of course not.
But man, you feel really betrayed.
Oh yeah.
And so I thought that was kind of represented well because one person it's like you're always on separate pages,
Right.
When it gets to a certain point, you tried to hold it together, and then it just seems like one of the parties is never like actionable at the same time.
Yeah.
and it just feels like
It was a
this.
little hard watching a movie with the Hoosiers coach looking for underaged hookers in alleyways. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was like there were just like layer after layer after layer of uncomfortableness, and like and like the fact that I know we watched this to see Gene Hackman, and that's that's how this goes. But I'm sorry, he was too old for this. He was You know, like she's like 35 and he's like 70.
Yeah, he was
And-
playing. Would they say 57? But there's no,
that was so.
he was playing
that
it, but
was
there's
so
no way
great.
it was freaking 57. He's like way older. than
Right.
that
Yeah.
in this.
I
Yeah.
think, I think it's just the fact that people look older than when we get to a certain age, everybody looks
Yeah, but I looked up the math. He was like 70 years old in this
less than
thing.
that.
Yeah.
You couldn't get any good shots of him running.
Because it was
like
just
he's
it was
supposed
just
to be a guy who goes running every day, but he looked terrible doing it.
it was only what
Yeah.
24. How old?
Yeah, 25 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, so he would have been.
This is
He would have
one of his
been.
last movies, right?
He would have been 70 because he died at 95. So
Yeah.
yeah, so like
Right.
to sit there and go. See, and then I went, well, wait, is he saying that because he wants people to think he's 57? Because I know a lot of people want to fake their age
It's
all
all,
the time.
yep. It goes along with the toupee.
Yeah.
I think he was playing.
Never thought I'd
57.
say I
think-
missed the toupee from Superman, by the way, but
Oh, so good. I really felt like I didn't feel like the movie was lying to us as far as the character speaking. I think this is casting. I think the character is supposed to be 57,
Yeah,
and I love the
okay.
fact that he was so offended by it because his jealousy monster is fighting against the youth is just as much as her jealousy monster is kind of against the youth too. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I will not say this movie is good. I just think that it is. If you like movies, it's worth a watch.
a little
to-
more
to kind of see
compelling
some
for you
things.
than maybe some of the rest of us found it, or a couple of the rest of us found it. I
Yeah.
don't want to speak for,
Right.
I don't
Yeah,
want to speak
yeah.
for everybody, but
Yeah.
Oh,
it's not,
I absolutely did not like it. Like it's got 50% on
Right.
Rotten Tomatoes. I'm on the green tomato side of that 50% line.
Very
Yeah.
good. Is there a particular aspect of it that you don't like? Is it the content or is it the filmmaking process itself?
It's
that failed?
absolutely the content. When we
Okay.
started Film Sack, Jason Mantzoukas and Paul Scheer started the How Did This Get Made podcast, and the
Yeah.
phrase "How did this get made" has been in my head every week since. And
Right.
for this movie, it really cropped up where I was like, wait a minute, I'm not asking how did this get made. I get it. I'm asking why did this get made? Why
So-
did filmmakers think that this was a worthwhile piece of art to put out into the world? And I'm not saying I hate the results. I'm saying I hate the impetus. You sit down with me and I'm like, hey, I need to borrow $5 million so I can go make a movie about raping and killing girls.
Yeah.
So this was very popular at the time. Morgan Freeman wasn't that far off his Kiss the Girls kind of all of those.
yeah, all those crime
those-
thriller
those
things.
nerd-
Seven
There was a
seven
whole bunch
likes.
at one point in time.
Yeah, they're basically
yeah,
basically 7 likes if there was a term for it, because after 7 there was like 20 of these kind of
Right.
movies. And
Yeah, yeah. And this movie kind of mixed in a couple of things that reminded me of like the mid 90s and also kind of some throwback to kind of taking that leisurely, sweaty stroll in, Puerto Rico, San Juan. And it felt like all of that kind of rolled in together. You can't watch this movie and not go, oh yeah, this is like 2000s, like mid 90s, 2000s. It reeks of it. It looks so much
lots
like
of
it.
saxophone.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now the interest, and there's always, don't matter where you go, if you're not, America's the only place that we film things that didn't have a Mardi Gras kind of party going on. And
Yeah.
there's always like a. Now it's not
so-
Mardi Gras here, but there's a
No.
Mardi Gras type party going on.
But it's so funny that this, like, they may have said at the very beginning that it was Los Angeles or Santa Monica. I'm like, how is this
Right.
not Miami? This is absolutely
Right.
South Beach. that
Yeah.
they're in.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they set it in Puerto Rico post like a hurricane, that added an interesting aspect to it, but it also added this kind of Wild West aspect where it's a mix of folks indigenous to the area and then these white guy cops and I promise
the
you, Thomas
only-
Jane was not born on the island of Puerto Rico. You know what I mean? Like,
No,
Right.
the only people we're dealing with is essentially, white people, even though Morgan Freeman's not white people, it's still the same idea. They're not locals, right, to that area where everybody else seems to be of a different type.
yeah,
And
and I
it's-
like that in a way because it means there's some lawlessness and law at conflict that's
Yeah.
a little bit higher than, say, go back to New York, NYPD, detective found a body. It's just not the same. There's something about like, oh man, this is the Wild West, or in this case, kind of a jungle of who knows. And is it the rich guy from the law firm? Well, this would be a perfect place to get away with it because this shit happens all the time down here. And with the storm aftermath, it's even worse because everyone's paying attention to that. We don't have the resources. Puerto Rico famously underfunded by the country that owns it. Hello, that's us.
Yeah.
So
Right. That's hello, how you doing? Hello.
so that's that part of it, that backdrop part. Actually, really dig that. That's a great place to set your story. I just wish it was more like regular murder.
It was. So did you guys? Right. So did you guys notice this? That I thought some things were pretty clever, but kind of obvious. We talked about a lot of the obvious things, but it if you're looking at making films, this might be some stuff to look at because in the interrogation room is soundproof, and you kind of need to know that because there's like this worry that Gene Hackman has. He can see her, but can she hear me? And if you notice, they kind of keep flipping back and forth between inside the interrogation room where the sound just drops, and then they go back outside and you can hear the party going on in the street. And I'm like, oh, that actually worked out really well.
I really appreciated that they invented a holiday for this movie.
Yeah.
Because,
well, no, isn't it real though? Isn't January the 6th or something? Is that
Not January 6th?
Oh, don't say that one.
they didn't call it Dia de
Not
Reyes.
that one.
They called it something else.
Right.
They gave it a weird.
Something.
Yeah, they
The
gave
San
it a.
Sebastian Festival, third Thursday of January.
Yeah.
There you go.
And that's not an actual thing in Puerto Rico, and I liked that because it allowed me to just kind of like summarize all of it and not pay too much attention.
You know what's weird about that though? They had all these people dancing carnival style and all the stuff. You expect to see that or whatever. The music's loud, and then there's a Mazda Miata driving through the middle of it.
I saw it.
Why?
I was
I
like,
mean, they have cars in Puerto Rico.
They do, but why right then during this?
why a Miata?
Yeah, why Miata?
Right.
Why only one car? Like there was thousands of people in this one Miata going meep 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 meep, just getting between people. It's really weird.
There was some hardcore product placement in a couple of scenes in this movie. I was the same way. Why Mazda Miata? That was,
just
very
an odd
intentional.
choice. That's all. Just a funky idea. But whatever. I also noticed that what's her? I'm sorry, I forgot her name. The
Monica
actress
Isabella Rossellini.
Bellucci. I thought it was Monica Bellucci.
I thought
Monica Bellucci.
who I
Yes.
thought did amazing.
Didn't I do that? I did that last week on TMS. I mixed them up. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Monica Bellucci.
Those two women are basically the same person in different
They
times.
are not the same person.
No, but they feel
No,
like it.
They're
And
both on my
she-
laminated card, though.
Yeah, they are.
Ha,
Gross.
That's hilarious. And she does an amazing job here at just being expressive.
Oh, she's very good. I like her a lot, but I had a question for Ibbot. She did a lot of mouth sounds. How'd you feel about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't bother me. I heard it. And I was like, I wonder if I should record this, like I did the thing from the Renaissance Festival movie where I recorded some of the audio from that.
Yeah.
Decided not to, but I can't complain about a single thing that Monica Bellucci does. I just can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like I had
I liked her so much
misophonia
more
then
in the-
because it was gross. Anyway, go ahead.
I liked her so much more in this than I did in the Matrix movies, which I think is the only other place I've seen her.
Yeah.
She didn't have much to do. She was in the second and third, or at least the second, and I don't remember her doing much. It was just kind of that French place where the weirdo French guy was. And
she was arm candy for the French dude. Yes.
have we seen her in
I
any
liked that she
other?
didn't.
I liked her in Beetlejuice, but that was a weird role too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
right.
forgot she was in Beetlejuice.
yeah,
Okay.
she was the weird comeback wife thing.
Right.
Trying to see if there's anything else.
Oh, because she's with Tim Burton now, right?
Oh, is she? I didn't know that.
Isn't that the deal?
I didn't know that.
And that
What do
guy,
I know?
that guy attracts some lovely ladies. You know.
I'm
does.
telling you,
Yeah.
man. Good job. Weirdo.
I might be wrong, but
I'm just being honest.
She has kids.
I think we need to bring that back. Say terrible things and just go, hey, I'm just being honest.
It says-
No, I'm just saying that there we go. Tim Burton and Monica Bellucci are in a relationship, having first met in 2006.
Oh man! But prior to this, she was married to this Claudio Carlos Basso guy, and they got divorced in '94. And she's been a free bird for a long time.
Yeah.
So now she's
Yeah.
she's hanging out with that guy.
She
That's cool.
deserves having to deal after having to kiss. She deserves every success she gets after having to kiss. An aged Hackman.
Yeah. And when he was getting all kissing her neck and stuff, I don't know why that grossed me out so much. It's just that
Yeah, no.
It's the age difference. We're supposed to not. We're supposed to be
He's so
creeped out about
sweaty
it.
in most of the scenes. We just assume he's sweaty
Yeah.
in every scene. I forgot she was Inspector as the
Oh yeah, and James Bond.
oldest ever Bond girl at 51 in
Oh,
2020.
I'll also
Yeah.
remind you, she was in The Passion of the Christ. She was Mary Magdalene.
Never saw
Oh, wait a minute. That's the Gibson one, not the. I always
right.
think we're talking about the. What was that weird one? The Last Temptation. That's what I'm thinking.
Yes, right. I
Oh,
always conflate those two as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
the two Jesus movies from big directors. I think is what's going
Two
on. there.
Jesus movies.
Yeah, no, it's true. Neither of which I've seen.
Oh,
Which is
you've never
probably
seen those?
really- haven't seen either of them. And not that I'm against seeing them. You know,
I
I'll
wouldn't
watch
mind
it.
seeing the Last Temptation has dialogue at least.
Yeah.
The other one, the Mel Gibson one, is mostly just beatings and bleedings. It's just not
Right.
A
Yeah.
fun
It's
movie.
torture porn.
Yeah.
The Last Temptation is a whole story.
Yeah, it's got a whole story. Yeah, they were both controversial for their own reasons, but you
Can
know.
we schedule it for Easter?
No, I won't
No,
watch.
no.
I will never watch Passion of the Christ
Uh-oh.
ever again. I
We
saw it
gotta-
one time.
Well, what about the other one though? The other
The Last Temptation. is
Absolutely,
what
I
we're-
will absolutely watch Last
one. Okay.
Temptation. Yeah.
All right. That's I think he was saying, right? You meant that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Can we schedule that one for Easter?
Yeah, screw Mel Gibson's movie. That thing is scary and gross. Yeah, it's almost. I'd rather watch like what was the one he made that was set in like the Aztec Empire and it was like no English, no dialogue.
Yes. Oh, I loved that. Apocalyptica. Or
Apocalyptic.
Apocalypta.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever that
Always
is.
forget that.
Man, that movie's cool. Gosh, dang
It's
it.
so good. Yeah. Or Apocalypto. Sorry, Apocalypto.
There you go.
Apocalypto.
X-Men Apocalypse. That's what that's called.
X-Men Apocalypto. There you go.
Xperia Apocalypto.
Oh no, Magnifico is on his way to kill Cyclopstico. Oh no. Anyway, yeah.
What'd you guys think about Morgan Freeman's lie detector? Oh, geez, there's so many like old wise tales kind of stuff. It's like, oh, you look down and to the left, everybody knows that's a liar. Hey, what time is it? Let me check your pulse. Hey,
Yeah.
that's a carotid artery there. Let me
I see
pulse the
your-
wrong side.
Yeah.
I see your artery from here. Like,
Right.
if he said that one more time, I was going to stop watching the movie. I'm serious. I was gonna,
Listen, I believe it. I believe it when Daredevil does it. And he
Yeah, well, he
kinda
has
said somebody's, but maybe not so Morgan Freeman. The
Yeah.
looking down and to the right though is that's a thing that Tina learned when she was doing investigations.
Is that
It's
still
like,
real? Is that still a accepted science? I thought that
Wasn't
got.
that all
still
stuff?
something
Wasn't
that
that
they
all
teach you.
stuff that was? I thought that was all stuff that'd been debunked.
I
It was
did
like
too.
a whole bunch of training material that we trained all of our agents on, and eventually, they're
Yeah,
like,
I
"Oh,
thought that
that's
got debunked too, but maybe I don't know. I probably don't know, but I
Also-
read
also-
something.
Maybe
Aren't-
you do.
aren't all successful liars taught that you should keep eye contact? Is like you're
yeah, which is
Well,
really
Yeah,
creepy,
if they
right?
go to, if they go to
They're really-
liar school, but some of the
Right.
people that Tina investigated didn't go to liar school.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also some of that looking away. There's different lookings away, right? There's the looking down and the left
Yeah.
from somebody
Yeah.
who you know and you know they're lying versus somebody who looks away because they're shy or they're
Right,
uncomfortable.
can't make eye- or not-
I mean, it's
not-
all related to which hemisphere of the brain is supposed to be inventing lies, and you're supposed to look at. But that's all. There's everybody's wired a little bit different. I just don't think that's a.
I think
it's
some of
just
that
not
there,
something to
there is
depend on.
there is a lot of science in body language, but I swear some of that
Oh, yeah,
looking stuff has
absolutely.
been challenged and debunked. But who knows? The point is, like, I thought for a second you were going to say it depends on which hemisphere your brain is on, meaning which hemisphere of
Right,
the
right,
planet
right.
your
That's right,
brain is
Southern
on.
hemisphere, they look the other direction.
If you're in Australia, you look down and to the right.
Yeah, exactly. Your toilet goes that way, and so does your brain.
Right. You can't help it.
That also got
But, hey,
debunked,
does
by
it-
the way. Funny enough. Anyway,
Yeah. Does anybody keep a bottle of Bacardi in their bathroom? Is that just
No.
Morgan Freeman? Is he just,
No, he's a drunk. Clearly, he's got.
That was an interesting detail though, because it doesn't really result in anything. Not-
No.
Well,
Like, going
it
anywhere.
kind of it only thing it results in is to convince you that everybody is either on booze or some kind of drugs, and it's like, how truthful and how manipulated are these people right now? I don't know.
Sure. How much of their responses are chemically induced or chemically altered or whatever? Like, I don't know, man. The problem I have with the whole thing, this comes to that point. Hackman would vacillate, and he's good at it. All right. Like Ibbott said earlier, we're not talking about his acting. The man's a freaking master of his trade. There's a reason we all look at him and love him. He won Oscars, all that. But he would go from you're a dumbass,
Yeah.
you're blah, 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 and then 2 seconds later, shaking,
have
his
you ever
carotid
been-
arteries throbbing, like he's acting like he's the most guilty guy in the room, and then he would go back to like Thomas Jane, eat my butt or whatever,
Right.
and it was
Have
just
you ever
who's
been?
on that
And
one?
have you ever been in any long, like just a really long argument?
oh yeah,
I mean, that's how you do. You
just
like
get more-
you
you wear
cannot
them
you
down
cannot
kind of
be you can't be at 100% the whole time. You get really mad and then you kind of chill out a little bit and things kind of almost seem funny for a minute, and then somebody says something and your blood pressure just shoots to the roof, and it's like I found all of this to be very representative of
some of it,
freaking
but he would go from
intense long-term
also their
interactions.
sense of time was way off because it was like, well, I got 12 minutes till my speech, but then they gave me like 25 minutes of movie. It's like, well, wait a
that
minute.
did not fit well.
It's like you're late for
Yeah.
your speech, so get up there and do your speech, and then I'm
Well,
like, this is movie time.
Well, he was
Sorry.
supposed to give him 10. I thought the same thing because you said, "Oh, you only have 10 minutes." I was like, "Oh, he's got 10 minutes and he's got to do a speech." But it actually had like 45 minutes before the speech or something, and so the 10 minutes was the lie. It's like I'm just going to keep you for 10 minutes, and it was like, nope, keeping you forever.
Yeah, it was a load of poopy. That's what it
well,
was.
and then
By the way,
It
along,
was a lot of poopy.
Yeah.
He's a liar.
If you're about
He's
to
a
go
liar.
give a
Liar
speech-
pants on fire.
Mm.
And you've got like a big old rip in the shoulder of your jacket, but you're wearing a vest underneath it. Why not just
take off the jacket.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
But also,
take
if
it
you're
off.
57 years old and you fall down the stairs, you're going to the hospital. Is what
you
you're
need
doing.
a new welcome. You need a new hip.
Yeah. When his hair fell off and everybody looked at him like, oh, shocking. I think Thomas Jane even apologized for the hair removal or something right then? There was some little moment there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
That made me
Oh
laugh.
man, his Thomas Jane is just the worst and best thing in this movie. I love his overacting. But it is just the worst thing because like when it's just him and Hackman in the captain's office, which by the way, I love that office. It looks so genuine. It's huge. It's old. It's dusty.
And they did a good job. Like I could not tell if there was an open side to the set because you saw. It seemed like you saw every
That was
angle
location.
from it, especially panning. They did some full pans around Hackman as he was answering questions, and so I was like, all right, that's a well done set because
that room was so big. I think that might have actually been a location. What do you think? I'm not sure.
Oh, I think it
felt
was.
like
I think it was. Like, I don't think they
Yeah.
made that up. I also think maybe even some of the sound coming through the windows may have been ambient to the scene.
like real
Right.
real
Yeah.
Mazda Miatas.
Yeah, and I really an actual Miata with his blinky headlights that are up.
Real Mazda Miatas were hurt in the making of this film.
Yeah.
Oh, they were all hurt.
All right, so speaking of Thomas Jane, let's say just for argument's sake, let's say he was removed from this film, his character, everything. Would it have maybe softened the them keep fisting the dude's Henry's guilty the whole time if you don't have Thomas Jane constantly underlining that?
Yeah, I think that if Thomas Jane's character is not here, this is a little bit different movie, and I think maybe a little bit better. I think it kind of devalues what they're going for here.
I also, I say this knowing, believing fully that Thomas Jane is a great actor and a capable dude. I like him in tons of things, and he's about to have a moment. He's going to be Punisher in 4 years. Like there's stuff coming up for him. But I don't disagree with that. I think that there's something about that role. What doesn't matter who plays it. There's something wrong with it being in the story.
Right. Yeah. I want to be really clear. I would have hated John Leguizamo if he was doing this.
Yeah, we love him.
It's the character. It's the role. It's the need for that role to have someone again connecting to the audience saying, "We believe he's guilty. He's guilty, right? Don't let it out of your mind that he's guilty, so that we can pull the rug out from under you at the end of the film."
And by the way, it was the movie takes place in Puerto Rico. There should have been more Puerto Ricans. We got a couple white guys, a black guy. We got an Italian woman. Like, what's happening?
Yeah,
it kind of played well because it's like this is supposed to be all of the the rich people. I didn't understand why Morgan Freeman was still there. His wife is in Lifton. I don't know.
Yeah.
What was he even doing?
Well, he's
there?
into the
Who knows what he's
crime.
doing?
His job,
Yeah,
sir.
he's got his job. He's just
Yeah.
sticking around, whatever. But yeah, like it just was.
Thomas Jane was. Thomas Jane was just there to bust heads. He
Yeah.
was just like,
That
where
was
can
his-
I go? Where can I go beat some people up and no one will ask questions?
Well, that
Let's
and,
go.
that and to get a mouthful of lady hair at that one point.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Thomas Jane was the only actor who would fall down those stairs. Maybe
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's
Yeah.
it. We need somebody.
they asked John Leguizamo, and he was like, "I'm not doing
No
that."
way
fall,
am
man."
I
No,
falling
no,
down
no,
the stairs for this role.
You keep saying with Leguizamo, and it's funny how perfect that casting would be, even though we don't necessarily
Yeah.
think the role's
Right.
needed. He'd be great.
Right.
Yeah, he would have been
Right,
awesome.
yeah.
I mean, I can actually think of a whole bunch of those guys that would have been great, but it's just a role I don't think you need, and it's pivotal in some ways in the story, but it's still like, no, you could have done that another way, or you could have dealt with that, or
Yeah.
maybe you need
It
that
would be better
antagonism
without him.
Yeah,
It'd be better without him, but it's much more entertaining with him.
oh, I
think-
yeah,
Right. Well, yeah,
he's
and
great.
you get to have Morgan Freeman tell him to go do whatever
Tell
morons do,
Yeah,
which is
I love
awesome.
that line.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was
Whatever morons do.
he went from, let's see, I'm just trying to get a timeline on him where he was at this point in his career. So we were back in 2000. Yeah. So he had just done Deep Blue Sea, Thin Red Line, some late 90s stuff that was kind of a big deal. He was in Boogie Nights for a hot minute. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And then Under Suspicion. And then from then on, it got kind of lame until it wasn't. And then it was busy doing garbage stuff. Dreamcatcher's all right. Did you guys ever see that? It was okay.
Oh, we saw it here.
Did we see
Oh,
it here?
we watched it here, didn't we?
The
Yeah,
2003 one? Did we? I don't remember now.
Yeah.
Did we? We did.
Yes,
Stephen
we
King's
stacked
movie.
it in September of 2017.
Oh shit! Right, we did. I know that because Damian Lewis is in it, and I'll never forget that. Anyway, that's where I saw it. Was with you guys.
Right.
But anyway, he's about to do some stuff and get in it, and get busy and whatever. The Mist was like 3 years after that.
Yeah.
Like, I like him. He was hung
All right,
later
You've
on.
named all but two. Two more film sack movies starring Thomas Jane. Go.
Oh, hold on. Okay, we did shit. Okay, Punisher. This
Yeah.
Sus,
Yeah.
the Sus movie.
You named The Mist.
Missed. So that's 3. And then you guys said Dreamcatcher. That's 4.
Yep.
Okay.
Two more.
Are you saying you're saying 2 more beyond that?
2 more
Yeah.
beyond that. Oh gosh, we didn't do Magnolia.
Wow.
We didn't do. Did we do Deep Blue Sea? We did.
Yes. Deep Blue Sea.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
one
Oh,
left.
you're looking at a list.
Scott.
Face Off. He's in Face Off.
Yeah. he's
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, I forgot he was in Face
Yeah,
Off.
he could eat a
I
peach
didn't
for
know.
hours.
He wasn't one of the two faces, so I
Exactly.
forgot him.
I can't tell you anybody who was in Face Off except for 2 people exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, you want
Precisely 2 people.
Ibit, and I guess Randy will understand this reference, but the fact that we got a I could eat a peach for hours reference, and I'm watching a show
Yeah.
where a peach has a very specific.
Oh,
role
yes,
to
you
play.
are.
Yeah, that's a weird feeling,
Yeah.
especially considering the tone of the show I'm watching. And that's all I'm gonna say.
Good.
Anyway, what else? What grossed everybody out? Or me the most? What do you think grossed me out? Is what I'm trying to ask the question of.
Turn this movie on grossed you out. Gross. Oh.
Thomas Jane digging for earwax and flicking it on Morgan's desk when he's sitting there in the office doing the interrogation.
Second place. It was It was in first place until it wasn't. Let's say that.
Okay.
Oh, so what about when he picked whatever was in his teeth? That was also a Thomas Jane thing.
That
He
was
always
also
trying
Thomas
to get
Jane.
rid of
He was
body
always
stuff.
he was taking stuff off his body and throwing it on desks for some
Yeah.
reason. But it was a very close second. It was in the lead
Really?
until
Okay.
way later in the movie. That's your hint. It's way later, like interrogation era later. We'll say
Huh.
Okay.
it's a little tricky
Oh, no,
because
there was a couple of times when he started when Hackman was getting slobbery. He was spitting his acting. Everybody knows that.
oh yeah, I did see that, but that didn't bother me because I don't know.
Little-
Everybody
No?
gets
Okay.
riled up. I'll go ahead and put you out of misery. It's when is it Monica Bellucci? No, it's
Monica Bellucci.
okay,
yes.
Monica
Yep, you nailed
Bellucci.
it.
I'm mixing her up again with the other lady. When she's just spits all over the two-way mirror.
Oh,
Oh, God,
yeah.
Oh
Like it.
man, she hawked
like-
a good one too, boy.
Gross.
It was massive. Yeah.
Yeah,
Respect.
it was.
She'd been
disgusting.
saving
respect,
that one for
man.
like half an hour.
You could tell the way she was
Yeah.
talking earlier because you could hear it. But yeah,
I can
that
never
grossed
get
me out.
those to clear my mouth. They always end up grabbing my chin and just rolling down my. I
Yeah.
can never do it. I
Yeah,
don't do
it's
it.
not good, man. And in her case,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that was real spit. Number one, You could tell.
Oh man, a big old
Yeah.
ball. Of it.
Yeah, and I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
no, dude, you're a
Bubbly,
beautiful Italian model who does not spit on things. Come on now, stop it.
right.
I'm not in charge of her. She can do what she wants, but that grossed me out. What else? Chick in the bucket. I couldn't find one.
Was it prostitution? Hackman
Oh, that was hard to
getting
watch.
somebody
Ugh.
from the rear. That was rough.
Yeah, I hate that. Then does he have to do the whole bite on your neck thing after? And like, come on, man, just you're Gene
Yes.
Hackman.
What choice does he have?
You're Lex Luthor. You're freaking. You know, who's
his French connection? Popeye Doyle.
Popeye
You were
Doyle.
Popeye Doyle.
Yeah, you're one of the greatest cops of all time. What are you doing, biting her
Not
neck?
Popeye.
She's like young enough to be your granddaughter.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to be really grossed out in the recollection of him and him going to the family villa and then going off by himself with this like 13.
Oh, I didn't like that either. Didn't like that.
Like because like in their tellings they each have a completely different look on what was going on, but in Monica Bellucci's telling, he's like leaning really close to this girl. I'm like, get away from that girl.
Yeah.
I had a visceral reaction. Get away from that girl.
This reminds me of that
Old
Scorsese movie, The Duel, or The Last Duel. How everybody's version of the story is different. I totally got that vibe.
Yes,
from this.
that's such a great way to do that.
And that's
kind
a
of
better. So
storytelling.
now there's a movie that I think maybe it's the setting, maybe it's the time, maybe I don't know what it is, but I think that's a better version of this kind of intrigue because it's still this. It's the same idea. Yeah, it's not modern. There aren't cops putting you in jail like all that, but it's still this like her word against everyone else's. 3 different disgusting men have different versions of the story. Like it's just a better version of this. Sorry to director. What's his name? Stephen Hawkins.
Our 4th Stephen Hopkins film, and the other 3 are kind of cool compared to this one. Like this one bothering me actually raised my opinion of his other movies. We've sacked Highlander and Lost in Space and Predator 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he did. We didn't do Dreamcatcher, the Nightmare on Elm Street Dreamcatcher, did we? He did that as well.
No,
that was the 90 or 89 one.
What?
I don't know what order.
What number in the list was that?
What, Dream Warriors?
That's a dream. No, it's called A Nightmare on Elm Street: The Dream Child. It was
the Dream Child.
The Dream
Okay,
Child.
that was 6th, right?
6th, 5th,
5th,
something like that.
5th, maybe.
Yeah.
Dream Warriors is 3. The Dream Child is 4. Okay, so it'd be 4. It was the one right after. One right after Dream Warriors.
Oh, it says the trailer says 5. Who knows? I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm looking at the trailer on IMDb. It says 5 on it, but
I believe it then.
that's really weird. It's like that's a bad one. I think. Let's not count that one as a good movie he directed. That's a very bad movie.
Yeah.
If I remember right, we should still do it. I'm not saying we shouldn't. I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is the one I was thinking. This is that poster art though that I really dig for that era of those movies. I'd love that style.
Yeah. Again, blue on one side, orange on the other.
Yeah,
It's like
I love
that
freaking
trend was.
motif.
And then Freddy's giant eye just.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
With a ghost
Oh, look
thing
at
behind
Freddy
it.
Delivers. Get it because it's a.
Where's this? Oh, it's up top. Yeah, Freddy Delivers. Was that that was the punchline or not the punchline? The key, whatever. What do you call that?
I think the poster man.
The
Postman's
tagline.
Tagline. Freddy Delivers.
there
That didn't work.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
I love it.
That's very dumb.
Because he's
I
delivering the baby.
See, get it?
Good to get it. He delivered the
Oh my gosh.
So hold on, then I'm totally screwed up. If Dream Warriors wasn't number 3, because Dream Child was right after Dream Warriors.
Dream
I
Warriors
thought.
was 3, right?
3
Is
is
it not?
Warriors
Is it
is
4?
3, isn't it? I think.
I thought so too.
Dream.
Yeah,
now I'm
pulling
getting
up the
confused.
franchise,
We've said so many things now.
Freddy's Revenge, Dream
I
Warriors,
can't remember.
Dream Master. Oh, I forgot about Dream Master was between the Dream Warriors and Dream Child.
Oh, that's
Okay.
4? Okay. Well, I think a lot of people
Dream
forgot that.
Master.
I think a lot of people forgot that movie happened.
God, for a while they were coming out every year. 87, 88, 89.
Oh, hey, the tagline for that one, more great album art, or not album art, poster art. But the tagline is terror beyond your wildest dreams. All right, Freddie.
Ooh, get it because it's
Calm
It's
down. Calm down, Freddie. You suck.
Rennie Harlan, by the way, director on 4.
oh really?
What?
Yeah.
Hold on. Really?
Nice.
Yeah.
The guy that made
I think I've
Cliffhanger and
forgotten that.
Cutthroat
I
and
think
all
that-
that? Wow.
Yeah.
I think I knew that.
Well, come Halloween, it'll be Sacktober, and maybe we can get one of those in. Who knows?
It'd be great. It's
Yeah.
been a while.
Any other
I'll tell you
thoughts?
one thing about
yeah,
this.
go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I knew right away. I'm like, oh, we're in for some bangers. We got BT in this, right? Is that that his name?
Sure. Yeah.
BT. Yeah, BT,
Brian Transo. Yeah, I guess we'll talk about it later. Yeah, the music was good.
yeah.
What,
is he connected to something else?
He's well. No, I think you're just saying we'll get to the soundtrack thing, right?
When we get to the
soundtrack. Great. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
The Star Trek connections. So I was like, oh, we can't talk about that. Just
Yeah.
All right, fair.
I thought the music was interesting and at times kind of brilliant, and then at times kind of sappy and shit. But also, it's a thing of its time. So
I wrote down movie of the week music.
Yeah.
I felt like ABC movie of the week, especially during the opening credits when they do the thing where they show the person while they show their name during the titles, like Morgan Freeman, and there's Morgan Freeman like looking at the camera, and then Thomas Jane looking at the camera. It's like, all right, are we watching Silk Stockings here, or what's going on?
That could have easily been. It could have been a TV movie of the week with different actors, and you would have never blinked. You know, it's that kind of story.
Easily.
They would have toned down the language, and there's your show. I mean, I never forgot that one. There was some TV movie with Ted Danson where he was molesting kids. Is the story, not Ted Danson himself.
Right.
A character played by Ted Danson.
And I remember struggling to watch Cheers after that because
really?
And it was during the run of Cheers, I think. He was doing an off job, and I would watch Cheers, and he's all joking with Coach or joking with Woody or whoever, and I'd go, yeah, but you molested those poor kids, you piece of shit.
Jerk.
Yeah. Because I think there was maybe a time where that would wreck your career. These days it's almost like,
it's a rite of passage now.
Yeah,
everybody has to do their own monster.
You do your American Psycho, or you do your what's the Fassbender one where he puts his wiener on the window? What's that called?
Wiener on the window.
Wiener on the window.
I can't think of it.
On the window.
It's like naked, or it's a single word. He was
Sideways.
People
that's not him.
No, not that. It was a whole movie.
A different wiener.
It was a whole movie.
It's a red on air wiener.
he had some kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? He had some kind of disorder, like sexual addiction thing or something. Fassbender,
right?
And he put maybe he didn't put it on the window, but he was up in a window with his wiener out. I remember this. I remember he went full frontal on that. And I didn't like it.
That was a
window.
A big point, huh?
Yeah, but I want to see that new one he's in that you saw, Ebbett.
It's great, Black Bag. It's very good.
Looks really good. He did an interview this.
Great.
He did an interview this week where he said he lost out to Bond for this reason. He before the Daniel Craig stuff, he auditioned, which I didn't know that until he said this.
I didn't know that either.
He would have been great. He still could be if they want to use him, but
easily.
He says. He made one huge mistake at the end of his audition. It went well. He's all done. And he says, hey, you know who you ought to get in here? My friend Daniel Craig would be a great audition for this as well.
Oh, no, really?
And he thinks that's the reason that he ended up not getting it, because he was that close to getting it. I think that's so great. That'd be like me going, oh, man, Dunaway's the best guy to do your thing. And then they pick you.
Bad.
And I would go, you know what? That's great. You're my friend. I'd want you to have it.
That's right. That's it. I'm just going to go home and be mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, his whole point in the end was that he's not mad about it. He's happy for his friend. And
Sure.
His
that's
career.
what you say on the outside.
His career's just fine.
And then he slapped his penis on the window.
And then he put his penis on the window. Exactly. Just like MC Gaming.
Can we make that the last time we say that?
Yeah. You don't want to hear. You don't want to hear slap the penis on the window again. You don't want to hear that.
That's the last time. Though.
Okay, that's it. That's the last
that
time.
one.
Yeah, never going to hear slap the penis on the window ever again.
Needle on the record.
Needle on the record.
Well, what do you?
Wiki, wiki.
Right. I think he wore a Trojan when he did that.
No, he did not. All right.
You got to protect yourself, man.
Let's we can do. Do y'all have anything outside of that before we play those clips?
I don't think I do. I'm looking at my list here.
Stuff, but no.
I just wrote down that's one tiny toupee, but I think we already covered the toupee.
We sure did.
Yeah. I get one to go. How's he going to put that back on? What did he bring some
some double-sided tape?
Gum? Yeah, some spirit gum. What's he got here?
Do you think that's harder in a super humid climate? Be harder to keep your toupee on? Probably.
Oh my God, it got to be right.
I would assume so. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine that would last very long.
The dog was with me.
I mean, you hear about sweaty actors on stage and their mustaches falling off and stuff. Same idea, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and do some clips. I got a bunch of them here. We're going to start this week with Thomas Jane wants to prepare you a drink, and this is how he does it.
I'll burn us some coffee.
I'll burn us some coffee.
Burn us.
I like that. I've started
Are you
using
just
that.
pick it up from Starbucks?
yesterday.
Yeah, just go.
Yeah.
It comes pre-burnt. You can actually just pick
So
it up. and it's already
you don't
burnt
like
for
you don't like the dark roast there, do you? Dip it? Okay.
If it's not alone, most
I
people
love
don't.
dark roast, but I don't love that dark roast. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people complain about how burnt their coffee tastes. Here's the mystery dog thing.
The mystery dog.
Yeah, the mystery dog.
Ghost Dog. You saw that movie, right?
Yeah,
The
That's what I
script really
always get
kind of
at,
the script really kind of goes off on its own around that dog. Like that.
Yeah.
There's so much more movie about the dog than than anything else.
it feels like the
They
dog.
announced at the end of the movie the dog was the killer.
Yeah.
That would have been
Yeah.
great. The dog mauled these kids and then positioned them after to look like they were sleeping. That would be amazing. Here is him being rude about his Opie status.
Sergeant Opie.
Sergeant Opie.
Sergeant Opie.
It's Detective
Yeah, Detective Opie.
Dumbledore. I can't remember what his name was.
Overpowered.
His real name was Owens, but
Opie.
he kept saying Opie.
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
I thought it was Detective. Go get me a drink,
Yeah, go burn me some coffee.
and then passively aggressively, don't get me the low fat.
Yeah. And he's like, no thanks. Man, they really didn't like each other at the beginning of that.
No.
Never did, I guess. All right.
No.
Here's all the pleases you can get out of Morgan Freeman at one time.
Owens.
Please. Please.
Oh,
Please.
Please. Please.
Please,
Pretty please. Let's see. Ordinary, no genius.
My looks are entirely ordinary, and I'm no genius.
All right. I mean, that's not nice to say about yourself.
Sell
but I get
yourself
said it.
short.
it. Yeah, I agree, Gene
You said
Hackman.
it. I did.
You're the hack man. Let's see. Ghost.
Stuck in your head all day now.
Here's another. And it really is. Here's this dog mention.
your ghost dog story reeks.
Yeah, reeks.
Yeah.
I used to say reeks.
Reeks.
I used to say reeks a lot growing up.
I used to say it too until I watched Game of Thrones and they start calling him Reek, and I'm like, I don't like that word.
Oh,
Shaking the wiener
what
at
is
him.
up? Why are we talking about wieners?
I don't know. What's that about? Yeah, that's a famous scene where you got what's his name?
Yeah.
Ramsey Bolton shaking a wiener. Yeah.
Ramsey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic. It's a good gift too, if you can find it.
All right.
It's a great gift. Yeah.
Here is You're Out of Line.
You're out of line.
You're out of line.
You're out of line.
That's what
That's
happens when
real
I'm
good.
yeah. When I try
So
to
good.
butt at the movie theater. The guy goes,
You're out of line.
all right, fine. I got it.
You should probably make some use of that one. Like you can just drop it on guests on TMS when they're talking.
And they say
you go.
something dumb or they push too hard on some subject and I can
You're out of line.
and that'll
Yeah.
put them right back where they
Right.
were.
Out of line.
Yeah. Because there's some authority in your sound clips, you know. You gotta use them wisely. Here's the thing about chat rooms and websites, and clearly this is the year 2000. So here you go.
You ever surf the net? You know, check out the chat rooms and the websites?
Yeah, the websites.
The chat rooms and the websites.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
this movie had a website in his opening credits, had a URL in it, and I was like, oh,
well, what was it?
did
we're in 2000.
What was it? Do
I
you know?
can't remember now, but I did make a note. I was like, what's it? Hold on a second. Did I write down website? Oh, I didn't write down the website URL.
I'm gonna look this up, see if there's a search I can do. Under suspicion. It doesn't. I can't find anything. Dang it.
You keep moving. I'll look at Netflix and I'll screen grab it real quick.
Okay.
I love it when movies from like 97 to 2003 talk about the internet because
Yeah.
it's just like
Yeah.
he's just like I get just spam emails. And I'm like, yeah, okay, grandpa. Like,
This AI assistant says you can watch Under Suspicion on PBS. Wrong one, PBS. I know there's like 50. Jeez Louises. All right. Well, there's that. While you're looking that up, I'm going to play this. We all want this in the end.
Why can't you tell me one thing that adds up so we can all go across the street and have a good time?
Yeah. They never did get to do
I
that.
love that.
They went across the street, but they didn't have a good time. All right, you guys, I got a question for you. What did the Heinz bottle say to the regular ketchup bottle? Here's the answer.
I'm 57. God damn it, 57.
Ah,
oh,
I was wondering where he was going with
Clever.
that. I love
Yep.
it.
Yeah, Heinz 57, baby. All right, this thing from the beginning.
Your butt got chewed for blowing the pooch.
I don't understand what that means. Your butt got
It is
chewed.
obviously screwing the pooch.
Yeah,
but
there's
it's
screwing
a
the pooch
variation of it.
phrase. Yeah.
Are we supposed to think
Really
he just
screwed the
screwed?
pooch now?
Do we just suppose he screwed it up and it was meant to be funny that he screwed it up, or is it? Did he really mean what he said? Was that? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, hear this again.
Your butt got chewed for blowing the pooch.
I understand the butt got chewed. You got chewed out by Morgan Freeman
Yeah.
Sure.
by blowing the pooch. Does that mean blowing the
Yeah,
dog
which-
theory? Is that what he means?
I don't know. I
thought I
no,
took
he
it
got in
just as a
trouble.
screen the pooch phrase.
Yeah.
Okay,
And he
so
got chewed out
messed up, man.
because he messed up. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, he gave the heads up that they had a certain amount of information that he wasn't supposed to let him know.
so dropping the
So that's
ball or some other idiom. It's like that, except
Yeah.
it's a mixed idiom, is what it is. I don't like it.
Yeah. I don't like it.
Or metaphor, even in that case. Let's do this right here. Gene Hackman saying no.
No,
I'll do it again.
no,
Nope.
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 no.
Nope. Hey, Gene Hackman, are you gonna come out of hiding after 25 years?
No.
All right, thanks, dude. The big three.
Bodily fluids, semen, DNA.
Yeah, those three things are great.
DNA.
DNA.
The big. I like that you had them the big three.
I don't know why I wrote it that way, but I did. All right. Was hard to understand her when she said this.
You're putting on quite a show for Henry.
What?
Oh, putting
For
on quite
Henry.
a show for Henry.
Okay, let me do it again.
Henry.
Putting on quite a show for Henry.
She puts a in front of quite. You're putting
Yeah,
on
well,
a
she
quite
also like putting on quite
Yeah.
a show for putting
She's
on
terminally
quite a
Italian.
show.
You know.
Oh, she's very Italian. You don't get
She's
more
very
Italian
Italian,
than
yes.
that. Yeah. But you know what? I don't remember her being that Italian in like 2 years later in that Matrix sequel. She seemed less Italian.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Here is this is when I was on Twitter.
Stop trying to bait me.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Stop trying to bait
Trying to
me.
Bait.
I like the way he says this word.
She was high on the sugar rush from pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin.
pumpkin pie.
I definitely don't. I don't hold with people saying pumpkin. I can't do it.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
It depends on who. If they're a little kid, I'll allow it.
Are they under 7?
Yeah, then I'm okay with it. But if an adult says, "Hey, got any more of that pumpkin pie?" That makes me want to burn something. Ugh, hate that. All right, Gene Hackman saying, "Whoops."
Whoops.
All right, there's
Yeah.
that. Oh, I forgot to share with you guys. I know we're probably going to get to Crimson Tide at some point. I'm glad we will because I love that movie. But I watched it the other day, as evidenced by my recommendal on TMS on Wednesday. And there's this great yeehaw that you guys heard. I'll share it with everybody else if I can find it here. Here he is, Gene Hackman saying yeehaw.
Yeehaw!
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so funny because it's he says it. It feels offensive when he says it like
Yeehaw!
Yeah, something about the tail end of that. There's a edge
right,
to it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't feel like a country bumpkin. Yeehaw!
Yeah.
No.
Oh, he also said this.
He seems to have a serious weed up his ass.
Another great line in Crimson Tide. We got to get around to Crimson Tide soon-ish.
For sure.
I love that movie so much. It's also weird because James Gandolfini is all up and down that thing. He is all in there.
Right.
And I don't remember that at all. All right, final clip. When I try and describe the perfect Polish hot dog.
Hard and tight and smooth. The way skin is supposed to be.
Yeah, that's the only way I could soften that clip because I hated that description.
Yeah.
You disgusting freaking old pervert. What the hell, man?
Yeah,
Gross.
Yeah.
All right, well done. Now this. Oh, that's not it. I present to you the Film Sack checklist. Cold soda to reduce the swelling. Thanks, Tom Jane. Yes, check. Do you guys remember seeing that? He got his head hit, so he was holding the Coke there. I'm the only one?
Holding the Coke can on there, yeah.
Somebody in this movie has to pay.
I see what you did there.
Do you get
Okay.
it? Do you get it? Okay.
Because these were an to pay.
That's right. And then finally,
Tiny one.
that interrogation room smells like hot farts. Check. All right, moving on.
Oh,
my.
that's true.
Hot old man farts. Star Trek Connections. Gotta be some, Randy. What do we got?
Really? Because there's almost no one in this movie.
Oh, man.
This is
Nobody-
a very
Yeah,
short
it's
cast list, right?
Okay. For some reason, I thought
so
Hackman
I-
did like General somebody in something as a cameo, but I remember that wrong,
Yeah,
I guess.
Or how did Thomas Jane never get onto a Star Trek? I don't know. There were none, so I made my two
Maybe in the
hoppers.
belt.
Oh, I like hoppers.
Made
Your
made a bunch of
your
hoppers, so-
one degree of separations are always fun. So what'd you find?
Yeah, so Gene Hackman was in Runaway Jury with Bruce Davison, who was in The Librarian with Jonathan Frakes.
Oh, all right.
And then I just did this one because we brought up Jack Quaid. Morgan Freeman was in Outbreak with Donald Sutherland, who was in The Hunger Games with Jack Quaid.
Yeah.
And then my last one I just think is really interesting. Monica Bellucci was in The Matrix Reloaded with Marcus Young, who was in Star Trek 2009 with Leonard Nimoy. I just picked, he was
Just whoever, sure.
I picked someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And that was Leonard Nimoy.
Nothing wrong with
And I had kind of forgotten Leonard Nimoy was in Star Trek 2009, but yeah, there he is.
You never know. Listen to what he said.
Nimoy?
Listen to what Nimoy said once here.
In the nightmare world of superstition and fear, the familiar story of Dracula is a case in point.
All right, man. That's cool.
In searching of it.
I did
Dracula.
I just did some in search of audio capping, so it was on my mind.
I love In Search of.
So good. I wish that was easily accessible now. I had to find clips. I couldn't find it streaming anywhere.
Oh, no.
Someone's got a complex way to watch it, I'm sure. All right, well done. The soundtrack grade, I'm going to give it an OKBOTOB for okay, but oftentimes overbearing. It's a little loud in places, things like that. Over dialogue stuff.
Yeah.
Not my favorite.
Yeah, it made me listening to some BT music made me want to listen to Moby music for some reason.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I can see that. Some of it. Because it's this weird mix. It's like some of that. Some of it's just a kind of ethereal and cool. And some of it is like Brian says, like from TV dramas. And I don't know.
TV.
It's a very odd collection of sound. I don't know. Wasn't my favorite, but it's fine. All right. Social media posts. This is where you guys sum stuff up in 280 characters or less, specifically this film. And this week I got a letter, a cease and desist saying you can't have Randy start at this time. So this time we're really going to have to shake things up. It's the law. I have to follow the law. So this week we're going to start with Randy.
And under suspicion haiku. This entertainment serves no good or right purpose. Leaves you feeling gross.
Oh man, sure does. Like eating a whole pizza in 2025. Nicely done. Brian Dunaway.
Oh, under suspicion, not hard, tight, or smooth, the way a movie should be, but more like Gene Hackman and his tidy whities toweling off. And saying so doesn't make me a pervert, or does it? Hashtag punished.
He was toweling off his junk or something in there. I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah, he had that. He was staring in the mirror, looking at his. Yeah,
They kept talking about how exacting that hallway was.
I like get your little warts.
It's like this hallway is 60 feet. Let's make sure to tell you that 60 times in the movie.
Right.
Yeah, that was. At first I was like, why? And I was like, oh, I get it, because that's the one fact.
It's the only fact they have. Yeah,
he's walked up and down that. He knows exactly how long that hall is.
Monica, you want to do it? No? Okay.
No. I love the idea of
the door.
I go get Hooker
I love the
now.
idea of shaking the door.
Yeah. I don't know. If Gene Hackman pissed on the other end of a door, that's a scary thought.
I didn't. I was absolutely terrified when she looks in his room and he's standing there in his undies. I was absolutely terrified we were about to see his wang.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is the last
on the
time.
mirror, right?
No more talk. We can't talk about his wang anymore. That's the last mention of his wang that we get to.
See
how it feels.
Until next week.
Just kidding. Hey, who's next? Brian Ibbett.
Me. Under suspicion. I'm going to add an extra syllable in there. Under suspicion. I'm so glad they found the real killer. I'm a Deus Ex Machina.
Very good.
The real killer was us.
Yeah. No, but that's a really good point. Like that.
Yeah.
That really comes in at a very specific moment, directed by God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this guy says, "Oh, you caught me. By the way, here's the other ones I did, and I did this, and I positioned them exactly like this."
Yeah. I'll say that ending had a big old fat holes in it, but whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good job, everybody. It's time for this, though. This is really important stuff right here coming up. we need to give this film its alternate titles. It was almost titled, here we go, get the card. Okay. According to this, The Punisher and Lucius Fox try real hard to convict Lex Luthor for nearly 2 hours. That was too long of a thing. By the coward Robert Ford, they could just put on the end there. Or Beneath Sus, which is another way of saying under suspicion.
Yeah.
That's for you Gen Z kids out there. Okay, moving on. All right, we get texts, we get voicemails. This week, it's a text, and it's on voicecast.app/filmsack, where Troll Dan wrote in. And he says this, on the Inspector Gadget episode, he talked about not knowing why Brian George was replaced in The Expanse as Avasarella's husband. It's the dude what played Jerry's dad and... or not Jerry's dad.
I say do. Why?
Anyway, he says they talked about it on the podcast. Ty and that guy with Ty Frank, one of the book's authors and executive producer of the show, and Wes Chapman, the guy who played Amos on the show. He says it was simple. It's expensive to retain an actor across seasons. Brian George's character wasn't important enough to pay him not to take other jobs, and he was doing a lot of other work at the time, still does. His schedule didn't work out to keep doing the guest role because it really was just a guest role. They did not love the work he did, and they did love the work he did, and were sorry not to get him back. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Sack on, and also, for the record, the guy that was there for season 2 through 6 or whatever was great. There was nothing wrong with him. It's just it's jarring when your husband changes. That's all.
You know? It is. Every time I go in the living room, it's like, oh, who are you?
Yeah, holy shit.
What do you mean in the TV show?
You're not Babu. Where is Babu? All right, that's it for that. Thank you again for those. Voicecast.app/filmsack. You can do voicemails, text there. It's fully anonymous if you'd like it to be, or not if you want it not to be. They just added a feature where I can require an email for verification. That's for when you're getting trolled or whatever. But you guys are great. As close as we've been trolled is this guy Troll Dan, and he's not a troll. So it's all good. We appreciate
Troll Dan
it.
sounds like somebody in a Godzilla movie.
Troll Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Isn't there one like that?
Scout Troll Dan.
Isn't there a Trodan?
It's
or
Rodan.
something like that.
Rodan.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I knew we were there, and that doesn't help me grow hair back. Rodan? Oh, that's Rogaine. All right.
Right. Rodan.
But Rogaine sounds like a
Rodana.
kaiju a little bit. The Rogaine versus Godzilla. That'd be all right.
Yeah.
Just makes him grow hair.
And then Mecha Rogaine.
Mecha Rogaine. Big robot with hair coming out of every corner. Oh, that's great.
Why'd you push me down the steps?
Exactly. Hey, I want to welcome 3 brand new patrons this week to our Patreon. Patreon.com/filmsack welcomes Brandon Adams, Matt Sims, and Antonio, who apparently has no last name. Or he probably does, just doesn't go by it. Brandon, Matt, and Antonio, welcome to the fray. We really appreciate it. Do you like those host specials? Good deal, because that's how you get them. If you don't know about those yet, you will soon, and you can also check out the old ones. You also get movie-related art in the mail. I need more syllables too. Monthly episodes, like I mentioned from the host, pre-show content every week, no commercials or ads of any kind ever, and other monthly benefits. Go sign up today at patreon.com/filmsack and be like Brandon, Matt, and Antonio, or as I like to call them, BMA. All right.
BMA.
Our next film has been inserted sort of last minute.
That's right.
Kraven the Hunter on Netflix.
Woo! On Netflix,
Only 3 months old. That's pretty new for us.
And
Yeah.
I watched it last month, and I can't wait to watch it again.
Oh, I didn't know.
You watched it last month?
Oh,
You paid?
man.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't pay. Be for real.
Well,
Okay,
how'd you
just had
see
a
it?
complex way of watching it?
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm surprised someone got it that quick. I guess that's what people do, but
I don't even know if I'd make that much effort.
I think I would not make that much effort. I'm going to go ahead and say no. But Kraven the Hunter is one that we've had our eye on since it was so poorly received. Even before it came out, I think we were all like, "Oh, film sack, we're ready for this."
After the pain of Madam Web, it's like, all right, well, great. Here's more of the same.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. So it is next week.
too.
It is Netflix, not Disney Plus, like you might assume. This is a Sony joint. And is coming on Netflix, so it's there now. It might be, Randy, you mentioned maybe one of our earliest or soonest from release, and I think you're pretty close. Other than the Star Wars thing we did over the weekend at Open in 2015. Other than that.
And we were talking on the pre-show about a movie that just came out on Netflix yesterday, and we really could start looking ahead to things like this. Like,
Yeah.
we all knew as soon as we heard about it that it was going to be
It's
bad.
Probably not going to be very good. Yeah, right.
What's it called?
We just
Electric
we
City.
aren't in the
Electric City.
You
right?
don't have to be good. You just got to be entertaining.
It's got to be
Right,
sackable.
exactly. It's
Sure,
got to
yeah.
be enough to talk about. True.
That's right. So, and none of us will, we void very rarely. So I think you're in for good. You're in for a
I
good
void
time.
3 times a day.
Wow. I'm lucky if I get 1.5.
Oh, you mean veto? Oh, okay.
Speaking of, why am I speaking of?
Yeah.
You know what? No, I'm going to stop right there.
Sure.
Carry on with the end of the show.
Sure.
What am I thinking?
No.
Why not?
The void.
Well, let's do that. Quick note, filmsack.com is our website. Other note, you can leave us reviews wherever you get your podcasts. And do not forget this brand new voicemail text line, which is voicecast.app/filmsack. Been loving this thing. If you're a podcaster, by the way, highly recommend it for getting your voicemails and your texts and things. Just so easy. Absolutely love the service. And you might like it too. Voicecast.app/filmsack is where you'll go. Filmsack@gmail.com if you'd rather do it the old-fashioned way. That's going to do it for us. For me, for Brian, and for Randy.
Go to hell.
We'll see you next time.
Hello, I'm a tailor, and your pant size is frog. You're always welcome at frogpants.com.
Your ghost dog story reeks.
Yeah, it does.